We love movies. As soon as the room goes dark and the projector flickers, we sit back and the world simply stops. Suddenly, you're falling in love, experiencing loss, traveling overseas, or defeating your biggest enemy. What we call movie magic has somehow tapped into a special part of us that keeps us going back to the theaters over and over and over again. Because the thing about moviegoing is that there are rarely any stakes. Whatever unfolds in the film is nothing but images. A world projected on a two-dimensional screen. And yet, they feel so tangible. But sometimes, films are too powerful. They cannot be contained. As the people we're safely watching through the keyhole become aware of our presence, we become the ones being watched. "Don't look at the camera" is perhaps the most repeated remark directors give, especially to extras. Why? Well, because it feels awkward. How, but also why does meeting an on-screen person's gaze affect us at all? Not only do we see this in cinema, but in visual culture at large. What could the Mona Lisa possibly be thinking when she stares blankly back at us? The concept of the fourth wall originated from the world of theater performance, imagined as a huge wall separating the audience from the actors, who must behave exactly as if the curtain had never risen. And it wasn't until the 20th century that breaking this wall became a thing, as performers began to directly address audiences. Now, of course, in television and film, the screen is the fourth wall. And leading filmmakers and franchises alike have all broken it to enhance the cinematic experience in one way or another. But where exactly does this enhancement come from? The questions we've been asking ourselves, the whys and the hows, all this pondering around cinema as a machine and the way it functions, differs dramatically from the earlier ontological theories. This structuralist approach is symptomatic of a post-war quest for meaning. With the development of psychoanalysis, thinkers sought to understand humans as structures, by deconstructing the way they operate. Thus, unlike traditional film theory, 1960 theorist Christian Metz was interested in developing an objective, scientific-like approach as to why we love cinema. He questions the psychological effect cinema has on the viewer that makes us so eager to watch one movie after the other. Borrowing from Lacan, Metz compares cinema to a mirror where the imaginary and the symbolic collide. As Lacan proposed, a child in the mirror stage identifies with its own body as an object as it becomes self-aware of its sentient existence within society. Metz then claims, cinema is a strange mirror, very like that of childhood, and very different. The difference is obvious, as in cinema, the spectator's body is absent from the screen, so absent from the mirror. But then, how are they similar? If the viewer cannot see their body reflected, with what then do they identify? Metz answers precisely, the camera, an identification that pre-exists the one we have for the characters. As such, the eyes of the spectator become the camera lens, making them the point of entry into the diegesis. This is why breaking the fourth wall works so well. Before the wall is broken, characters do not really consent to being watched because they don't really know we're here. We're simply voyeurs looking through a one-way mirror. But the moment one of them looks into the lens, into our eyes, this one-sided mirror shatters, and with it, the safety, the anonymity it provided. And suddenly, we become connected. Take the opening of Clockwork Orange. While other filmmakers choose to break the fourth wall well into the film, Kubrick instills a deep connection between the viewer and Alex right from the get-go. Alex's buddies, however, are looking away. This makes us all the more self-aware, because what does sociopath Mr. Alex know that they don't? Is sociopath Mr. Alex coming to get us? He knows we're watching. He knows we have identified with the camera and are now a part of his world. What is even more unsettling is that Alex never blinks, even as he raises his glass of milk. He makes the spectator feel unwelcome as the camera, and thus we, slowly back away. Or perhaps quite the opposite. Maybe this is his way of welcoming us into his dangerous world. Whatever it is, we feel connected, concerned, implicated, as we are forcibly participating in what seems to be one of the most intense staring contests in the history of Hollywood. When the cinematic apparatus structurally positions us as the entry point into the fiction, the film becomes our world. The further the film goes, the more we forget that we exist outside of it. Breaking the fourth wall enhances this blissful ignorance. When we're looked at by the characters, seen, we become recognized, actualized both in our world and their world too. The reason why breaking the fourth wall feels so personal is simply because it is.
You're still here? It's over.